Following a difficult start to the season, Sergio Perez faces a dicey future in a Red Bull driver's seat. It doesn't help that there are multiple rumours circulating about possible replacements being lined up, and things are not going to plan on track. To be honest, we'd be concerned if Checo wasn't feeling paranoid. Join us as we investigate the two incidents that have Checo questioning Red Bull's faith in him and the speculation surrounding whether Red Bull will extend Perez's contract beyond 2024 or if they have their eyes set on someone else for the future. Perez had a dramatic start to his 2023 season, where he struggled to match the pace of Verstappen in Bahrain, but managed to secure a win from pole position in Jeddah.
Formula One, Sergio Perez wins. It's Perez on top at the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix.
This win fueled hopes of a potential championship challenge, but a major error during qualifying in Melbourne exposed inconsistencies that need to be addressed if Perez is to truly compete with his teammates. And compete he must in order to get enough points to secure the Constructors' Championship, but not too many that he threatens Max. Looking at the situation that unfolded in Australia, Motorsport's Mark claimed that Sergio Perez would be forgiven if he was a little bewildered after the Australian Grand Prix weekend with a side order of paranoia. So where is this paranoia coming from? According to former Ferrari and Williams team manager Peter Windsor, Red Bull engineers informed him that there was no issue with Perez's car after the qualifying session of the Australian Grand Prix. During the session, Perez was eliminated in Q1 after he spun off the track at turn 3 on his opening lap, causing his RB19 car to get stuck. The embarrassing incident came after Perez had also gone off the circuit 4 times during the third practice session. Despite Perez's complaints over the radio regarding an issue with his car, the Red Bull engineers stated that there was absolutely nothing wrong with it. This revelation by Windsor suggests that Perez's struggles during the Australian Grand Prix weekend were due to driver error rather than technical issues with the car. The team, in the same press release, said, "We will be checking the car over, and if there is anything wrong, we will of course put it right." Emphasis there on the word if. As it turned out, the discussion did not happen. Despite starting from the pit lane, Perez showed an impressive performance as he battled his way up the field and finished in 5th place, earning him the title of Driver of the Day. However, this result left him 15 points behind his teammate Max Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship, indicating that he still has a considerable amount of ground to cover. Hughes pointed out that when a car is significantly superior, even small differences in reliability between teammates could have a potential impact on the points gap between them. For example, if Max Verstappen encountered 2 DNFs that did not finishes and his teammate Sergio Perez won those races, it would take 7 races of Verstappen beating Perez into 2nd place to make up for the points difference between them. Hughes noted that Verstappen had recognized this reality, which explained why he had been particularly hard on his team regarding his reliability issue during the qualifying session in Jeddah.
It's almost not accelerating.
Okay, understood, Max. Well, we'll do what we can. We're happy for you to try and limp home if possible.
Perez will surely have arrived at the same realization, says Hughes. If he was a paranoid person, and most competitive drivers are, he might imagine that the team may try to ensure against getting into a situation where its favored driver gets into tricky points deficits through any unreliability by ensuring Perez has an early season deficit, he added. The team didn't even bat an eyelid when they allowed Max to take the fastest lap. Heaven forbid, Perez gets to have both glories.
By taking the bonus point for fastest lap, Perez with the win.
This is bound to be taking up a lot of space in Perez's head and leading to sleepless nights. But how does this position in the team affect his future too? As the second driver at Red Bull, Sergio Perez has fulfilled his role admirably, supporting teammate Max Verstappen in his championship-winning seasons in both 2021 and 2022. However, their once perfect relationship has hit some snags, with the tensions between them taking many in the F1 world by surprise, including Red Bull bosses Christian Horner and Helmut Marko. But there's been enough coverage of the relationship already, so let's focus on Perez and his future at Red Bull. If he falls down the rankings and lets other teams close the gap to Red Bull, he will most definitely come under scrutiny, especially if he is outperformed by Verstappen's closest rivals. However, we have to acknowledge that Perez has a wealth of experience and has proven to be a consistent points scorer throughout his career, which could be valuable to Red Bull in a more closely contested championship fight. Ultimately, his future depends in part on his on-track performance and the commercial value, where in 2022 alone, he brought in $33 million from social media, third only to Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. That's right, he brought in more than Golden Boy Max. So what happens if the Mexican does underperform under the Red Bull brand? His contract is set to expire at the end of 2024, and Dr. Helmut Marko, an advisor to Red Bull, has expressed his willingness to consider replacing Sergio Perez once his contract expires. And the team is not short on prospects. Who looks likely to take Checo's place? It seems there are 4 names at the top of this list. First up, Marko has put forth an idea of promoting either Yuki Tsunoda or Nick de Vries as a potential replacement. However, any driver who aspires to claim the second Red Bull seat must demonstrate a high level of skill and ability to compete at the highest level. To be a candidate for Red Bull Racing, you have to have an extraordinary performance, Marko told Formula One. They have to prove themselves if they want to stay in Formula One. The better one will probably have a chance. That applies to Yuki and also to de Vries. AlphaTauri team principal Franz Tost believes that Yuki Tsunoda, currently 22 years old, is a potential replacement for Sergio Perez at Red Bull in 2025 when Perez's contract ends. Perez is performing well this season, but as he will be 33 years old when his contract ends, Red Bull might consider a younger driver for the future. Tost thinks that Tsunoda could be that driver, as he has already started his 3rd season in F1 and achieved 2 11th places and a 10th place finish at the recent Australian Grand Prix. What about giving the popular Aussie Daniel Ricciardo a proper seat? Ousting Perez and the stability he offers to Red Bull in order to bring Ricciardo back would be a risky move, considering the manner in which his spell at McLaren came to an end. So that's 3 of the 4 racers. Last up are the reports suggesting that Nico Hülkenberg, new to Team House Team, was under consideration for the Red Bull Racing seat alongside Max Verstappen when the team was evaluating its options with Alex Albon. Hülkenberg's lack of prior experience with Red Bull's sister team may have ultimately worked against him in the race for a seat in the team. While he ultimately did not secure the Red Bull seat then, he is still being included in the conversation now. If you ask us, we'd love to see Yuki Tsunoda promoted to Red Bull, as Max continues to grow. Red Bull needs to start planning for the future, especially with all the speculation that Max won't extend his contract and explore his future beyond F1. Indeed, Perez's commercial value cannot be underestimated, especially in today's social media-driven world. His popularity, particularly in his home country of Mexico, has led to a phenomenon known as Checo-mania, where fans are wearing his signature red cap and supporting him wherever he races. This following has not only resulted in significant financial gains for the driver himself, but also for his team, as he attracts more attention and interest from sponsors and fans alike. Therefore, while his on-track performance will certainly be a factor in whether he is retained beyond 2024, his commercial value could prove to be just as important. At the end of the day, money talks. We certainly feel that he needs to be reminded of his place in the team. He has to tally the points, but not compete with the team's #1 driver. If he can maintain this equilibrium, there should be no reason to replace him. But cross the line and his time at Red Bull is over. And cross the line he will. If I want to win the championship, I have to beat Max weekend in and weekend out, and keep this level of consistency throughout the season. Rarely have we seen 2 teammates battle it out for the championship over multiple years, without one being forced out. So for us, Perez will not be at Red Bull beyond 2024. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments below.